So today at home, what happened? Two of my children got into a little squabble over who sits in front of the computer. There's only one chair, one computer, and these two children of mine, my daughter and my youngest child, tend to squabble a lot. So if it's my youngest son who sat at the computer first, my daughter will come over and try to take over, and it's always going back and forth with these two. Now my wife is witnessing this, and she's always from time to time trying to sort it out between the squabbles between them two. So anyway, so she's getting fed up, because it's not the first time that she's told them, and also spoken to the kids about other things to do around the home in terms of their homework and their chores. She finds herself having to repeat the same thing over and over again, and the outcomes are pretty much the same. Sometimes that they don't listen. Well, majority of the times that they don't listen. So she's come up to me and she's told me, look, Mabs, this is the situation. What shall I do? So then it occurred to me, and then I thought to myself, hang on a second, maybe it could be you're doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. Because if you've been doing the same thing for years and your situation has not improved, the outcome hasn't improved, it means boundaries have been crossed, and there's an inconsistency there, and that needs to be refined, that needs to be taken a look at. Okay, let's pause there. Prior to this situation, I spoke to one of my sons, and I asked him, son, why is it that you don't listen to your mum? What's the issue? And he's told me, he's given me feedback and said, Dad, sometimes I find mum being a bit rude because she shouts at me. And then I said, why do you think that is? And he's given me the reasons why. And then he's also told me, Dad, sometimes I react negatively because I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what's happening to me. Sometimes I get wound up. Sometimes I'm happy, and then when I'm happy, I listen to her. When I'm upset, then I don't listen to her. I don't know what's happening with my emotions, Dad. I don't know why I'm responding that way. I just don't know. And then it occurred to me, sometimes we may not realize as parents that our children are going through an emotional stage, trying to figure out their emotions, regulate their emotions. And if it's not checked by the parents, if the parents don't educate themselves about emotional regulation of their child and of course of them, there's going to be a lot of disturbances as they're growing up, because their behavior is only going to get worse and worse unless it's been tapped into from grassroots. So sometimes that you might tell your child, don't do this, and they're crossing the boundaries. It might not be that they're crossing the boundaries. It might just be that they're developing and they don't know how to regulate themselves, and they need help from the parents. And the parents must be able to recognize this and not take it personally. Because if they're at the stage of development, when they're young and they're just trying to test where they stand with you through pushing boundaries, you can't take it personally and say, look, they're being rude and they're disrespectful and X, Y, Z. Yes, that could be the case because they're seeing what you're doing, but the other equation, the other factor to be taken into consideration is that they're growing, they're developing. So this is what I'm trying to bring to your attention, is to just assess the situation, because it might not be what you think. It might not be that the fact that they're rude and they're not listening and they're misbehaving. It might be the fact that, hold on, they need help in regulating their emotions. They need help in communication. They need help to articulate their feelings and to express themselves, and they don't know how to do it, and they need guidance from you. So it could be that. I'm not saying it is, because there's a number of factors, but this is something that should be looked into as well and not misunderstood. Because if this is not tapped into and it's left alone, what's going to happen is this: you're going to have your child who will not be able to regulate their emotions, and this will carry out all the way until their adult life, and they'll be in constant reaction. They'll be very impatient. They won't understand how to communicate properly or what the other person is saying. They'll just be in reaction because they've not been seen to when they were young. And the way to do this is to have open conversations with your child, to tell them, look, son or daughter, what's going on? What's happening? Are you okay? What are you trying to tell daddy? What are you trying to tell mummy? What's happening? How are you feeling? These kind of conversations need to be taken place, because when they don't, you're going to have a child that will destroy their relationships, because you've destroyed your relationship with them. You've not shown them the way. You've not shown them the guidance. Yeah, so I don't know. This is just something that I'm just in thought with and trying to grasp these concepts, these ideas. Just what I might just put it out there and share. Anyway, guys, I will see you on the next video. Assalamu alaikum.